All right, we're recording, and I am just opening up my phone so that I can give you two screens. Hopefully that's how the recording will show up. Yeah, okay. It's giving me prompts as to what is being recorded and how it's being recorded. And my phone is accessible to me, but I've got like a 13%. So I'm going to grab my charger, get it closer to me. So again, I can see my comments inside Facebook and inside Zoom. I want to encourage you, if you want to join in on this exciting exercise, to come over to Zoom. In the event at the top, you will see the link inside there. My link is always the same. So any place that you've found a link into Zoom, you will find that link to be the same. Okay. All right. So Facebook is open and I can get to the group. I'm going to slide this view down to the messy tabletop so that I'm only looking at this view across, and hopefully you're getting both of the views in the recording. That may or may not come across exactly true. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pin this one here. And that way you are seeing that one at least. And if you're here live, you'll see both views. I'm still working on how to get the recording to show both screens and really allow for us to play inside all this goodness. So let me go to gallery view so I can see both on the screen, and that may be the ticket. All right. It's Wednesday and I have not pinned inside the group yet wins. This is a win to be here showing up for you guys. This is also a win because I've had a few clients that I've worked with in between some of the weeks, and I've got some fun pictures to post. All right, so I need to get myself a little water so I can keep that throat clear for you guys. And opening up the group so that I can see if everything is live streaming there and if we've got some peeps over on that end. So who's ready for this? Who is ready? If you're watching on the replay, I'm super excited about that, and that you are excited. Yes, we're good and live inside there as well. Okay, so 3 tips to tame that catch-all table. And I've been kind of collecting or just keeping these items on the table, just kind of letting them land as they may be so that I can really pile up the table and start from scratch where I begin and how to really begin to tackle this mess. Because we've got a little bit of Eric stuff. We've got a couple projects going on. We got our new bed. There were some things underneath the bed that I wanted to store to a different place. We got an espresso machine behind me, if you can see that. And so there's a lot of little projects that have been going on. And I use this space more than not as my desk for coaching. But I'm ready to jump in and let you guys know how to get started on this. So the very first task of the day is really to find your macro, okay? Macro out the table. And what I mean by that is to categorize items, okay? So separating them into certain categories. So for instance, this is new deodorant that we are trying. It's great. I'm going to turn it around so you can see it. And it is fantastic. It is an unscented crystal deodorant. And we've been trying to find something really good. So this does not belong in this area. However, I bought it the other day and I was showing Eric. And so what I like to do for the things that do not belong in this room is I will either pile them on the stairs just for now, because I don't want to take any time to put things somewhere else and get distracted in a different room. I actually want to just take the items from the table that need to go somewhere else and just put them in the area that they may need to go. So if something's going to be more in the living room and not necessarily bathroom and bedroom area, then it would go zone in the other area. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what you want to start doing. And I want you to do that. If you're actively watching this live with us now, I want for you to do that with me. Okay, so you'll take your items. Again, this is going to go over here. And this goes in my truck. This goes in my truck. So that'll go next to the door. These items here are messy items for Eric. These all go into the bedroom. So again, those are just going to lay over there. This is going to go in the bedroom. This goes underneath this chair here. These all go underneath the chair. This is from our bed. So this is ways, let's see, this is the English side. I can register my bed, I think is what this is, register your product warranty. So that might be something that I put more with like a to-do list. These are some of my coaching stuff. This is my journal for every day. So I'm gonna fold that closed. This pen will go in that drawer. Okay, that's going to go here. These are some of my coaching notebooks. So I'm going to put those with my journal. Let's see. This is some client information. This is how to use the crystal deodorant. I don't need that anymore. It's pretty simple. So this is going to go into recycling, which will be outside. So that's going to go next to the door. This will go with some of my client stuff. Woohoo! This is our manual for our espresso machine. All of our manual stuff goes outside in a file bin. So again, that's going to go outside. This also goes outside, some of the laminating stuff. And yet Eric has a project he wants me to laminate. So I'm going to put that with my pile over here for work stuff. This is my human brain wave stuff that I kind of start with when I get into my coaching. Again, business stuff, that's going to go over on that side. This is also business stuff. I need to file that. So that's also going to, again, macro, big picture. You're not going to separate these into smaller compartments. This is also something I want to redo and laminate. So this is going to be in a to-do. I've got a couple checks here that I need to make sure that I've either deposited them because I do everything mobile. So again, this is the receipt with the espresso machine. So do you get the gist with this? I'm mostly looking at just systemizing, big picture, what are these things, and not going into the details. Oh, this is a sharpening system that Eric bought for our knives. I'm super stoked about that. Nothing like working with sharp knives. I do not know how this goes in here. It probably comes apart. So I'm not going to mess with that and get stuck. This is probably something that we'll keep inside the house. I don't know exactly where I want to put it, but I'm going to put it into the kitchen area because it actually may go, oops, lost one of my earbuds. It will probably go underneath the chair. What I love about these chairs is they have little compartments in them. You can lift them up. There we go. You can lift them up and they go right inside the chair. Isn't that great? Can you see that? Yeah, it lifts up. Oh man, I think that is going to be truly how I move forward with any chairs that I have, like dinner or chairs at a table. All right, so this is the stuff that we found underneath the bed in the other room. A lot of paper stuff, and these are like some of the drawing things that we use with our design. So this and this behind here, which was also underneath the bed. Oh, looks like it might have come apart a little bit. It did, so I'll have to fix that a little bit. But these items, again, these will likely go outside in a different area. So those are going to go here. This is actually throwaway. And this is to my outside area. Okay. This again is going to be outside area into the crafting stuff. This is a, these are Eric's items. Now that we have our espresso machine in here, we have less of a command station. That might be for a different video. But so these things that are his, we haven't really found a place to land some of his things that really should go in his wallet. So what I'm going to do for now is that will go in the kitchen area, and we will find a place for that later. We won't get stuck in this. These are my mom's socks that I borrowed. So those are going to go in my truck. This is another item that will go outside in our tent. These are books that I got on Audible to look to see if these books came through Audible. They do not. So I'm putting these books out here, but I may not read them. So I'm kind of back and forth whether I love them, but I'm not making the time to read them. So I may put these in my truck because it's been a little bit and I still have not read them. So they might be books that I just donate. I've got a little hair rubber band here. I'm going to put that around my finger because it's small enough and it's see-through and I don't want it to get lost. All right, what do we got here? This is some escrow stuff, some stuff on our house for sale. That's all of that. Okay, so this would be stuff that I give to Eric. He's got a file on all of that. All right, so that's going to go outside in some bins. And same thing, these more papers that were underneath, these are more drawing. This is not drawing stuff. These are more house sales stuff, receipts, and just information. He might even be purging most of that. But again, these are all design papers. So those will go with that little drawing, architectural drawing board that I have. We've got a nice little place for that. Okay. This is exciting. Look, you can see part of the table. All right. This too, this has a place underneath the, not loving these already. Not loving these already because they're falling out of my ear. There we go. Hopefully you can still hear me. I'm gonna look here on Facebook in live, make sure that if you can see me and hear me, we are good to go. Yep. Okay, perfect. Oop, I don't want the volume on. Turn that down so I can see myself live here working. All right, so this is a rice bag. This already has a home underneath my little chair here. So I'm gonna throw that in there. These were part of my design for the espresso machine for my pour filler and tapping. Those likely will get thrown away, but I may reuse them for another project outside because I do have a ton of those. And this is my dance party.
30-second
dance party. This gets me moving when I've been sitting at my desk with clients. So we will turn that off for now. That will likely go in a drawer over here. But I'm gonna tuck that over here. Scrap pieces of paper. I've got my mailing labels. Those again have a place right over here. It goes underneath that seat. So we are down to the wire. This is gonna go in this side. These are a to-do list. I'm gonna put those over on that chair for now because I will get to those. Clock. I'm not using in the house anymore. I use this when I go and do chair massage. So this is going to go actually outside. and it's going to go with some of my chair. I've got a single glove here. I'm not sure where the other glove is right at the moment, but that also goes outside and stores underneath. This is my bookmark-ish for where I'm at with the day. So I'm going to make sure that goes back inside there. And my journal, I wanted to be doing some bullet journaling. So that too is going to go over here with my journaling and kind of my coaching books. All right. And then here we are. And this is a clean table. And yet this is dirty. So I'm going to take this off and I'm going to put this in the laundry, which will go outside. And here we are. Ta-da! Look, it is like shining. It is beaming, is excited for us. So we got through the macro, and I don't know how long that took. Not very long, but here we are. It's 9:48, and so if I actually started right at 9:30, in a few minutes. So let's do this. Let's go ahead. If you're walking through with me right now, this table extends as well, and I am going to polish. I'm going to do a little nice clean, the next step clean, and I'm going to grab my wood furnishing 2-in-1 all natural. We're going to move the plant. We want everything off the table, and we are going to give this like staging new space. We're gonna really get down to the nit grit and get it nice and clean. And I'm just looking to see if there's anything on the table that may really need to get a wipe down first. All right, so first I'm gonna just use a little bit of a clean towel, nothing on it, just a little bit of water, and get a little scrub on there. And we'll talk about the next step. So the next step, the second step would be know your style. And if you know your style of organizing, then you can kind of step into the next steps of organizing, which means now you're going to land into your piles. What am I going to be doing with my piles? Now, I always encourage, if you are no matter what kind of style you are, if you are a ladybug, a cricket, a bee, or a butterfly, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that I will put a link in the comments. You can find it at the top of the group where as a new member, it's pinned as a feature. So you kind of get up to speed with what that means. And then when you get questions about anything, I know what your style is, and I'm not suggesting something that doesn't work for you. Now, I'm a kind of hybrid bee cricket, more cricket than I am bee. And what that means is I like to pile things first, and then I work with a system inside a system. But I can get stuck in the piles because I don't maybe plan the time to get the next steps, the next system figured out. Oh man, I think I'm going to take these little guys out because they do nothing but fall out of my ears. So maybe I just need a smaller earbud. Okay, so let's clean. Let's do it. If you've got some polish, maybe you've got a glass top, clean that off. I actually want to pull this back out. It smells fantastic. Don't you just love a clean smell? Like that inspires me to keep cleaning, is if I've got a clean smell going on. All right, so I'm gonna get some paper towels and go from there. Now this is the hard part, is now you've got piles everywhere and it looks messier than it did because it was kind of up and out of your way. Sorry about that squeaking. This table does really squeak. Oh, okay, we're gonna slide that back in. And we're gonna go across. And I'm loving the way that this smells. I'll let you know what I'm using. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's so good. Okay, we'll let that dry a little bit. And then figure out if you're going to put something else, tablecloth on the table. Again, if you've got a glass top, I really love using the Norwex. What do you call them? The Norwex towels. I'm a big fan of like no chemicals. And these are great for your windows and all that stuff. What we've got here is one that you just get wet with water, and then one that you polish. And so I won't use this across the table because then I'll get chemicals in it. But that is a great, if you have a glass top, I would really recommend that. I don't sell Norwex, but I'm a big fan of it. And so I'm sure there's somebody in here that does Norwex. Somebody in the group that does, go ahead and reach out to me, and we can get that information out there. I really appreciate, we do some posts where we allow people to post all their stuff and kind of sell their things in here, but we try to keep from doing that so much and just really get information to people. All right, so I'm wiping that down just a smidge more so that that dries a little faster. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Okay, we're gonna put our plant back on there. I have a tablecloth, and what I'd probably like to do is steam it before I would put it on. And it looks like this. This little baby over here. So what I'll do is I will steam it first before I put it on there. This might not wrinkle too much, and I could just put it on, but I want that table to dry just a little bit more. So if you're watching live and you know what your bug is, please put it in the comments. Let me know what exactly works for you when it comes to the macro side of things. Now, again, no matter what your bug style is, you always want to go into the macro first, because it can be really overwhelming if you are looking at the big picture and you're thinking, oh, this system has to go, and then I haven't figured out if I've got, a system for the next step. And I'll walk you a little bit through that. So just to recap, first step is macro. Second step is figure out your organizing style. And then our third step truly is figuring out how do we habit stack this. So how do we get this space to be clear all the time? Okay. One of the things that Eric and I just did was figure out, well, he wants to start studying more. I have kind of flexed in between an evening routine. And so if we set the table like we're ready to eat, then there's things on the table that keep me from putting my bag or these papers or, any of these items that don't belong here. Okay, so that's one thing that you could be doing. For Eric and I, because he wants to start studying, again, he's going to actually study, not in these chairs because they are not comfortable for him. So that's great. So his books will stay in a separate area, but available and accessible to him. The other thing that you might think about doing is you've set your table. Make sure that you have a command station. Make sure that if you don't have, command station really is where you come home and you drop your keys and you put your bag, that place that we don't have for Eric yet, because we just made this switch. He's pretty good about not bringing too many things of his inside the house. But for now, what I'm doing is I'm simply putting my bag over the chair here. I don't love it there, and yet it works for now. It used to be through the door where the espresso machine is, if you can see the view here. And so now we do not have a place even to land recycling inside the trailer. It's 2 more steps outside the door. It works so good. Works so good for that aspect. Yeah, give me some ideas that if you're already, on top of your kitchen table, if you don't really have a place that ends up being a catch-all area, what is working for you? What's keeping you from having it be this pile area? The last thing I would recommend is that when you set up an evening ritual, that's when you tap into, okay, I'm going to give myself 15 minutes to, tidy the kitchen area. I'm going to give myself time to wipe down counters. And it just becomes part of your evening routine, evening ritual that gets you inside your morning routine. So I'm not going to spend time with everybody here putting things where they belong. I'm sure you know how to do that. And this can be where you start to, really feel stuck. And you end up, I'm going to unpin this guy here and let's remove the pin. And I'm going to pin this one here, making sure that that one shows up. Yeah, so people get stuck when they start putting things away because they're in a different area and they open up something else. And before you know it, they are like stuck in something else and they're not back on task. So this is where I come in. Truly, this is where I come in to help support you to stay on task. A few of you that I've been working with, I believe that you can really state to this and how it does keep you on task. I'm there, you're paying me to be there. So you really prioritize things in a different way than when you're by yourself. It does really help get, that fire under your butt to really keep yourself moving forward in your goals, to keep this table clean. Having me, keep you accountable. How's that kitchen table going? That's another thing that you might do inside the group. I did this way back, was I would take a photo of my tabletop, and every day for a while there, until I felt like I got a rhythm, I would just snap a photo of me in the picture. And that way it was like proof to you guys and to me that I was sticking to the, project. Yeah. So it's so good in that aspect. So this is a great time for any questions, any comments that you might have, any things that you find that really you struggle with inside doing this. Maybe it's bringing other people on board with this idea. I know that was one of the things, is getting the rest of the family to kind of stick with the plan. And I think the best way that I've noticed, no matter what your style is to have that conversation with someone. Maybe it's a roommate, maybe it's your husband, maybe it's your kids, whoever it may be, is to have that conversation that, hey, this ends up being a real nag for me. It gives me a lot of anxiety when I come home. And I'm really trying to stay on board with it. So I need your help with this as well. And we take in regard, okay, so maybe someone once a week, maybe the kids have a chore of making sure that the table's clean and clear, because it might be an area that they do school. It might be an area where they do crafting. And so starting to get them to learn some chores, and you give them an allowance for doing it. Maybe every evening they're part of the routine, so it doesn't end up being one more thing on your list to do. Okay, you set a timer and say 7:30, or maybe a little later, maybe it's earlier, is you shut down everything you're doing, really, if you're watching TV or whatever may be, and you get into like a 15-minute, you set a timer for 15 minutes and you do a clean. Like the family gets involved, the roommates get involved. Having that first conversation really helps. And then you can kind of rewrap around on a Sunday, maybe when you don't have as much going on, and you look at, okay, so we didn't really do too good this week. How can we improve next week? Recapping on that. Maybe it's just you in your home and you haven't done a very good job of keeping it clean. I'll tell you, for me, it's accountability. So take a photo of that, land it into the group. Look what I did. It's clean for 3 hours. Maybe that's it. Because I know a lot of you that have kids, I don't have kids. And the blessing is it's truly only me making the messes. And so I don't have to go around and pick up other people's messes. But the downside of that, it's only my mess. So I can only blame myself. But you could have the place clean and then, someone's right behind you making a mess. I love that, Matt. Yesterday, the house was clean. That's a good one. So hopefully this is helpful to you. Again, I want to encourage you, if you are not on the live with me here today, but you are watching the replay, I really encourage you to take part in some of the drawing stuff that I'm giving away. And I'm putting a package together for what that might be. So if you don't live in our area, no big deal. I'll be sending it in the mail as kind of a prep package for you to get going inside your organizing. Those that are here live, those are on the replay, you can be part of that by simply putting in the comments or even posting a before and after photo of your table that you stepped into part of it today. Maybe you didn't get to putting everything away, because that can be tough too, is all you're really wanting to do is, or you have the time to do, is just macro them into categories and then get back to it the next day, or maybe later in the evening when everyone's asleep, you can then look at your piles and go that step. That can be tough for some people to not finish the job, or may even keep them from starting the job because they can't finish it. I'm going to tell you, you need to give yourself permission to just do micro amounts of things to move forward. That might be the magic for you, is just do mini amounts to get you moving forward. And even if it takes you a whole week to get the table clean, at least post those little things that you're doing every single day. And I promise you, it will feel exciting and you'll make the time to then jump back into it. One of the things that I'm offering for those that are live here is a discount in utilizing something that I offer to my clients called adjusted lenses. And that's usually an hour of time that we virtually connect with each other. Maybe you're showing me a space and we're talking about tips that you could be doing, something that you're struggling with. Really what it will entail is figuring out some goal setting so that you will actually move forward in a project. So you're picking a project that you're wanting to do, and then we look at, okay, so if you're wanting this done in 2 weeks, maybe it's a 30-day project. We're looking 30 days out and we're stepping backwards into how you will get that project done. It blows my mind. I like to think of it as goal setting on herbal tonics versus drugs. I mean, they are drug, right? But they're plant-based drugs. These things, they're going down the drain. Okay, maybe not down the drain. I don't like to waste money, but sticking in this ear, not in that ear. Don't get these buds. Excited that you guys are here with me today. And within the next 30 minutes, because I do have a call that I need to jump on, I'll be available for any Q&A. If you weren't able to be here live, and I would still include you in that drawing of getting a discount. I'm going to offer that at a 25% discount. I normally charge $47 for an hour of my time inside that virtual lenses, adjusting lenses. So you do the math, 25% off, and get you started with an hour session of coaching and just really laser in some of the blind spots that are getting in the way, and how you can be accountable to yourself, to your family, other people, your roommates, your partner, sticking to setting that goals of attaining something that you want to be. It might not be your table. Maybe you've got that down. Okay, the table stays clean, but maybe it's your closet. Maybe it's your living room. Maybe it's keeping your clothes out of the bathroom. It's putting everything away when you're getting ready for the day. Whatever it may be. But you need some accountability around it, and you really are ready to take that action. Then reach out, and I'm really excited to help you get this next step moving, so that you can get those goals accomplished and feel really excited in your next project. All right, you guys. Well, this is 30 minutes. I that's a win for me, getting a training in 30 minutes. And I feel really excited. Your top 3, just to recap, is macro, big picture, categorize your things so that you have spaces. If you don't know where they go, then just have it be a miscellaneous thing for now. Typically, if you don't know where it goes, I mean, like the couple things that I had, a card and so forth, I just don't have a space for it yet. Remember, if you don't have a space for it, then you need to just purge it or get rid of it if it's not something that you're utilizing. Second, figure out your style. How can you make it work for you? If you don't know your style and you've stuck there, let's have a chat inside that. Let's do some goal setting around that. Let's figure out exactly some systems that will work for you. And lastly, how can you habit stack it? What are you doing already that will allow for you to be in flow with keeping this space clean? I gave you a couple suggestions. You know, maybe it's after dinner, you go right into cleaning the space up and setting it up for the next day dinner. That's what I'm going to be doing, because we are going to be sitting more at the table here eating versus in our TV trays where we normally sit and watch a video. It's taking way too much of our time. And yeah, so we're flipping that, and that's going to work really well. Eric is going to be doing his training during the week. We're going to watch a video 1 time a week, and maybe on the weekends, if we're not out, project, you know, Sunday fun day projects, which we always will be. So thanks, you guys. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching till the very end. This is where really the magic happens, and you get to really see everything there. I got somebody joining at the very end here, so that's exciting. Hopefully it's going to open up. Yep. I'm going to admit there. And well, this is great, because if you do have some questions, Ramona, you're going to get some live coaching here. But I think you're pretty on spot with your table. I know you already have it stacked with that, meaning in your kitchen area, you set your table up for it to be a dine area where people are going to sit down and eat. So that's really awesome. I know that at times it can be a little bit of a catch-all, but because you're in between clients and cleaning and organizing and all that good stuff, maybe you can give us a little tip on how you keep, I mean, aside, you said I already know you set your table. Is there something else that helps keep you, you're on the spot now, woman. Is there something that keeps you habit stacking, keeping that space clean or clear? I'm going to ask you to unmute. Yeah, you're just muted. There we go.
Hi.
Hi.
The reason why I do all that is to keep from stacking stuff on my table. But I also picked it up when I was in a trip to Europe, and that's how they prepare their day, as they keep their table set for every meal. It's already set. So it's a very big invite. So I have a dual reason why I do that.
It's amazing. I love it. Yeah, I've seen that in a couple people's homes, and it's very inviting. It's like, you're ready. I know for myself too, if the kitchen isn't clean before I start a meal, then I feel like everything's in a mess, and it's just creating more mess. So Eric and I both thankfully are this way, and we like to just make sure that the space is clean before we get into a meal prep. So same thing with the table. If there's a mess there, then we tend to just sit over at the couch and his chair. And so it invites us more to be here and have a conversation versus sitting and watching something.
Right. And I think that's, for me, I think the tool, if we want to inspire to be more family, we've lost our tradition in America where people sit at the table, which I think had a lot to do with saying grace and prayer. So when we were a much more religious kind of country, that was the main place where at least everybody in the family gathered once a day, if it's not for 3 times a day, but mostly for like dinners. And so then the head of the household, whoever that happened to be, would say grace, and everybody would be able to see each other. Other than that, I think mostly people just grab food on the go, but to have a family gathering, I think that's
Yeah.
really one of the main purposes, also to have a table in the home.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with you in regards to we have just become more and more on the go. And, I do know there's a good amount of people still praying and, sitting at the table, but it is becoming less and less. I know when I was younger, I think more so as we get older in our family dynamic, we aren't all living together. So for my, situation, it's just my husband and I, and we, I bless our food when I'm actually cooking it, because that puts the love in there, and it does nourish our body in a whole nother way because you're sending that good vibration. But yes, so finding that space to really come together, talk about your day, it does really help with everything else in life in general. So yeah, that catch all. Is there any questions that you would have in regards? I don't know if you got to follow us all the way and then just jumped in, but um, the 3 top tips that I talked about is, if you do end up having a table that catches all, it becomes in a place where you're like, okay, I've just got everything here. The first one was to macro organize, to really segregate your things off your table. The second one is to figure out your style of how do I keep this in rhythm, finding a place for everything. And then the third tip was really habit stacking it. Like you said, you found that situation where making sure that it is set. But when it's not set, when you do have some areas of kind of in between cleaning, what helps get you, is it a client coming in? Is it like a
Hold on,
guest?
I'm going dark on you. When I don't have guests coming, I find that my table is, if I go get groceries, that's the first place I put my groceries. And then I take them out of the bags, and then I sort everything, and then I put them away. I don't normally put them in the kitchen for whatever reason. That could be something I could change. But I tell you the truth, that's a big space that's not utilized too much.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for places to do things. So it can become a craft table. So I think my mindset is, what am I going to do this week or this day or whatever? And if I got company coming, that'll stay clean. But if I don't, I might use it for doing a craft, or I might use it for working with my grandkids, for example, when I do a portal. So my table is, I utilize it 2 different things, for either crafts or for when guests come. So that's kind of easy for me.
Yeah.
The habits, I guess I would be the habit stacking. So I'm more of that kind of person. I don't put things on there to organize. That doesn't work for me. It'll just get left there.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the first one.
Organizing meant more like, what is your style to keep that going? Do you, like, for instance, some people use their desk to do their bills. So they may have an in or out box, because that's kind of more of a like ladybug or bee.
I thought you were talking about the dining room table. You're talking in general.
Yeah, because it can be a dual use for people. I do my bills here. I do all my coaching here. I eat.
Okay, well, you said, you said desk. So that is a desk for you and a table.
Correct. And, anything like business wise, business building, and same thing. Like I know people like, Heather, she'll craft at the table with the kids. They'll eat dinner there. I don't know if she does any kind of bills there or whatever.
She does her weekly grocery list.
Perfect. So, yeah. Yes. So like we kind of all have these dual purposes. That's partly why it ends up being, it can be a catch-all. One thing that I'm thinking too, that might be helpful for you is, and this might be even a subconscious thing, is the groceries go there, maybe because the table's a little lower and it's easier for you to get into the bags, where maybe the tabletop, the kitchen countertop might be a little bit higher.
Reflect back on, sorry for interrupting, but the fact that I usually have 3 bags of groceries. And my counter spaces are long and skinny, and I usually have to put a sack on one counter, a sack on another counter. This way, if I put it on the table, it's broad. There's nothing on it except for a centerpiece. And I can pull all my groceries out at one time and then
Yeah.
sort and put them away.
Yep.
So that's why. I never thought about the height. It wasn't really what my thing was. It was the size of the area where I don't have to go 3 different places to put my groceries away.
Right. And your macro, you take it out and you macro organize it first. So you're like, okay, this stuff is canned goods. That might go in the corner. This stuff can go straight into the fridge. And this stuff can go to some of my rollout drawers. So yeah, so that's great. Yeah. And if that works, as long as you like get stuff off the table. And then
Well, I
if you're
do.
using, if you're using a
Because it's
reusable bag.
right. And then the other thing is they're perishable. So that's also a reason why I immediately do that. The second
Mhm.
thing is I was thinking, Jules, for me, if I'm in the middle of a craft and then I get sidetracked and I leave everything on the table, I think that I should put a timer on in the background. So it gives me, instead of being, I want to work on my project for an hour, but set the timer for 45 minutes. That'll give me 15 minutes to clean up. I'm
Mhm.
thinking reminders that, oh, my time's up. So I don't overlap into another appointment or another schedule.
Yeah, that's a great way. And that's one of the things that I encouraged earlier too, talking about like if your table is really a mess, but you don't have the time to really go through the whole spread of the clean, you just do the macro part. You figure out the stuff that's on the table, and maybe if it goes in a different room, you don't go into the different room, but you just subcategorize it somewhere else, and then you've got your piles, and that maybe that's all that you do that day. And that can be tough for some people to not finish the whole table, but it may inspire you to then go back to it a little later. So yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for your insight on what's working for you. And it sounds like you've got maybe a tip for yourself of setting a timer. I know for me too, I will set timers a little, like if I want to do an hour project, I may set timers more frequently inside that hour, so that if I do get sidetracked, like in meditation, if my brain goes off to something else, it's like, oh, that's right, I wanted to be doing this right now. Sometimes I need it more frequently. So you might even think every 15 minutes to have that timer set.
Yeah.
Or go ahead.
Hold on.
Yeah, setting a timer more frequently might be the way to go. And that's a technique called Pomodoro. And that really helps people move forward in a project, and you don't get stuck in setting your own timers. So just
What was
letting
that
the
called?
rest of you know right now. Say again.
What is it called?
Pomodoro. It
Okay.
means tomato in Italian. And what it is project management. It's a productivity app, and it's free. And it's basically, if you have a project you want to do within an hour, it sets the timers for you. So you don't have to go back and set a timer and then go back and set a timer. And sometimes you forget.
Oh, you know what I would think would be helpful for me, and I don't know if anybody else is like this. I like the idea what you're saying, but I think before we can do that, I think we need to have a better attitude towards goal settings. How does that really inspire us to be more on target?
Mhm.
Because I don't think people know how to set goals. And I know that you probably have talked about this before, but it sounds real simple. Oh, I've got a goal to do this, but how do you break it down so that you actually make progress?
Right.
It's like, for
Yes.
example, I want to buy something.
Right.
So I've got to start saving money, but I don't really know how to break it down to actually make it happen. So maybe within this program that you're talking about, we could do that too.
Yeah, I did talk about that. That is actually, thanks for bringing that back up. That's something that I'm offering as a discount for those of here live. It's the adjusted lenses. And so if you have a project plan, you want to actually get it done by a certain time, then we work at that deadline and we work our way back and we figure out the goal setting in between, maybe
Right.
accountability ways, setting some timers. Maybe it's an Alexa, routine that helps keep you on task. So yeah.
I'm also thinking, Julia, if anybody else is listening, I don't know, but
Mhm.
what inspires me is good feelings. And so, and the good feeling would be, I'm proud of myself and
Yes.
I can't believe I accomplished this. So
I love it. Yeah, finding that why. It's so true. Like if you don't tap into why you want something in your life, then you don't have that emotional connection and you don't have
yeah, so
that
the
drive.
emotional.
Yeah.
So that would be a good place for me to start with something. Why what's the emotional connection and how does it feel? And can we explore making that happen spontaneous so that I can get it in my DNA? And like, that's the reason why I'm doing it. It's like when I quit smoking,
Yeah.
that was a long journey, but once I started feeling success on it, and it was motivating me to continue to do what I was doing, whether I got sick or not, that always helped too.
Right. Yeah. Right. They say a sick person wants one thing and a healthy person wants a many. I said that wrong. Totally like,
Right. When you get sick from smoking cigarettes, that's your motivation. It's like, I don't feel good. And so your health even becomes more important than smoking a cigarette.
yeah.
So there's got to be something when you want to learn how to do goals, because I know from just reading that people, and it's not about being successful because I want to be a guru or something like that. I just want to accomplish. That's what I'm saying. I want to accomplish that feel good feeling because I did complete something, and it was something that I could do on my own. I didn't have to pay anybody to come help me. So I'm trying to figure out how do I get that good feeling without having completed the whole goal. Does that make any sense?
Oh yeah. Like I was saying a little earlier, you know, giving yourself, and part of that might be too, is what I like to tell some of my clients is find a win in it. You know, even if you didn't finish it all the way, celebrate, find a way to celebrate in the micro steps of moving forward. Maybe it's rewarding yourself with a bath. Maybe it's purchasing something for your space that you just finished. Maybe it is, you know, calling a friend and letting them see, posting photos before and after. People get so excited about that and give you so much kudos inside a finished project.
Right. That's a good one. And the other thing is, I just accomplished something which made me feel good. We get into habits because our schedule changes. As we get older, we have less demands on us. So our schedule changes and you become, not lazy, but lethargic. It's like, I don't really have to get up at 8 o'clock anymore or 7 o'clock.
Sure.
I'm going to sleep in. That means I get to stay up later and then I get to watch. Anyway, you change your cycles. And you find out what happens when you change your cycles, that you are sleep deprivation. Deprived. And that then causes you to have other side effects of not being healthy. Right. So I have been working on this for probably 3-4 weeks now. And I'm not 100% yet, but I am better. It's like last night I went to sleep actually at 10:30 and woke up at 6:30 this morning. So I got my 8 hours of sleep.
Okay, so what are you doing to celebrate?
Well, I got up and I cleaned. I felt good enough to clean. I washed floors. I put a load of clothes on. I wiped the counters down. I went for a walk, and then I locked myself out of the house. So, but the point I'm trying to say is that I'm starting to get myself out of that routine of staying late because it's kind of a rebellious thing where I can do whatever I want to, and to more about, this is not really good for me.
Yeah.
So
find more of that. You're tapping more into that versus, well, I don't have to be on for anybody, so I can just let myself do whatever I want.
Right. And it got to be a point where it was not so much a habit, but a routine. And I was like, okay. But then I found out at the end of it, it was actually hurting me because I just didn't have the energy for the day. It's nothing.
Right. For the things that you actually do want to get done. Yeah. Or just have to get done. Yeah. Well, good job. I'm super proud of you. I know that's been something that you've been really wanting to do for a long time. So that's exciting. Right. Yeah. Cool. I know we need to revamp your Alexa routine too, and I need to do mine. And that's an ever, you know,
I have a new phone now, so everything's all messed up.
You have a new phone. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like it as well, but I have a new phone and I got to educate myself on it. And I haven't taken the time. So I have lots and lots of goals, of goals. Right now, I just want to tap in real quickly and say hello. I'm glad that you're doing this. I'm going to go.
Yep. We're going to wrap up as well because I don't want this to be more than an hour and we're just 4 minutes short of that. I'm glad you were popping on to give us a little Q&A and get some live laser coaching. That's what's cool about popping on live. So thanks for jumping in. And if you want to do some laser coaching, don't forget discount on
Okay.
that. Oh yeah. All
Okay.
right. We'll
Bye.
talk soon. Bye. All right, you guys. So thanks for being here today. And just want to wrap up quickly here and remind you that if you were here live with us, to tap into some of these goal settings, ways that I can really work with you doing the adjusted lenses. If you're interested in that, land into the comments. If you have some questions, if you're just ready to rock and roll with that and you don't have any questions and you just want to dial into your goals, then go ahead and go to my website. I will land the link in there, but just go to my website and you can sign yourself up. That I do sure that I've got it set up for the discount for you guys here. So I'll make that a separate link so that you aren't paying full price. And that is offered to those that were here live. And within the next, I said 30 minutes, we're already inside that. So you got like 2 more minutes to get inside to that discount. These are the bonuses of showing up live. Now, if you're watching the replay, you still can get in on the drawing that I'm going to be offering and sending out. I'll send a picture of what that might be. I know that the times don't always work for people, but I do want to make sure that you get a nice little way of popping in to get something for watching the replay, because your time is very valuable. All right, we'll talk next time. Thank you again for the poll ideas, and we'll keep jamming inside this and giving you a little bonus free trainings and little micro sessions. Take care. Enjoy your Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing your wins.